here again. I'm incredibly excited about this video here because I'm actually in the market for another skateboard because my wife has started riding. First I started off with the WOWGO 2S. My son loved it so much he wanted a board. I went and bought a Backfire, and now my wife is riding, so now we got to get rid of her scooter and we got to decide on another board. But this time around, all of my boards that I currently have are hub motored, and I'm in the market for a belt driven board. But the problem is, I've been looking around and there's a lot of different boards out there. I saw the VESTAR board, I see the WOWGO 3X, I see the OWNBOARD W2, but a lot of these boards are going with these super flexy decks now. They have the wood, and then they have the what's that other material, the fiberglass material. And what it's doing is it's making these boards so flexy. But I have the question of, with these decks being so flexy, what does it look like if a guy my weight, and I'm on a good day I'm 225, on a bad day I'm 230, don't judge me, but what do those boards look like with a guy that's about 230 pounds on them? A lot of times the boards that you see, when you see a lot of guys reviewing the boards, they're 160, 170, 180 pounds, maybe 190, but that's pushing it. Most of the guys are really down there in the weight. When the board companies actually test the boards, they're racing them on boards that, you know, testing them on guys at about 140, 150, 160. One company, I'm not gonna mention the company, they said tested on a rider 144 pounds. I mean, what average guy is walking around 144 pounds? So to me, that doesn't give you the full assessment of, does this board work? So what we're gonna do is, like I said, 225, 230. I'm gonna get on the boards, do a flex test on the WOWGO 2S, the WOWGO 3, and then also the Backfire G2t. And what I'm going to do is, to really help you guys out, is my friend LA is going to jump in the video, and he's about 180 pounds. So we're going to do a flex test on all of the boards. So not only can you see how flexy they are, but you'll see how low is the board going to the ground. Because some people might say, who cares how low the board goes to the ground? But I care, because I don't like all that super flexiness while I'm riding. But then the other consideration is, these boards, all of them have casings on the bottom, and my friend added some stuff on his, so they all have casings. So depending on how low it is when you're riding, if you're going over a bump or something like that, that increases the likelihood that you might scrape the bottom of your enclosures. So we're going to do those flex tests, and then boards flying all over the place. We're going to do those flex tests, and then we're going to do some riding too, so you can see what it looks like when people are riding. So give me a second to show you what's going on. All right, to start off, what we're going to do is, I have the Backfire G2t, and then, like I said, I have the WOWGO 2S, and then I also have the WOWGO 3. And everybody knows that the Backfire G2t has a more stiffer deck. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions out there is that a board is better or not better because they have a stiff deck or they have a flexi deck. And what it boils down to is actually rider preference. So what we're going to do is show you the flex so that you can make an adequate decision of, do I want that board with the super flex, or do I want a board that's a little bit stiffer? So we're going to start with the Backfire G2t. So I'm going to just sit it down. So as you can see, and I'm rolling. I don't like that I'm rolling. Try to be still on it. But as you can see, I'm bouncing. It's got a little bounce to it. It's got a little bounce, nothing too crazy. I kind of put one foot on it. As you can see, it's a little bit stiffer, so it doesn't have crazy bounce on it, but I don't mind it. I actually so far I kind of like a deck that's a little bit stiff. So as you can see, that's the Backfire G2t, and it's generally considered to have a very stiff deck. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try one of the other boards. And the next one we're going to try is the WOWGO 2S. And the thing about the WOWGO 2S, this was my first electric skateboard, but this board is a little bit flexier than the Backfire G2t. But the thing is, it's like in the middle between these two here. It's got some flex to it. And really, I would say that this is probably the amount of flex that I like the most. So let's stand on this one so you can see the difference. So I'm standing on, as you can see, it has a little bit more flex to it. And I'm rolling a little bit. Let me stand on it again so you guys can see that flex. So it has a little bit more flex to it, as you guys can see. And then the final board that we're going to test out, which is the most Flexy deck over here. And a lot of people are comparing the WOWGO 3S Flex to, of course, the boosted board. Somebody's got a muscle car. I'm gonna let them go on about their business. All right, so the WOWGO 3S has a lot of flex, so you guys will be able to see that in a second. As you can see when I stood on it, wow, you see how it's like really sinking in at the bottom. I mean, a lot. I mean, a lot of flex. A lot of flex.
Cosign.
Yeah, just that.
Backfire?
Yep.
Alright, I'm 180 pounds.
180.
Is it gonna roll, man?
Just stand on it. It's not like a super. There you go.
It's gonna roll down this little hill, though.
That's fine.
Alright, stand in the center.
That's perfect. That's it.
Yeah, we need something medium flex.
I think that's gonna be worse. Alright guys, to wrap this thing up, I didn't get a chance to do the video exactly like I wanted to. We did have some riding, but I wanted to do a lot longer riding, but we didn't get a chance to do that. But ultimately my main goal was really to show people how these boards look when a rider that is a little bit heavier than the typical rider is riding or standing on a board that has that super flexy deck like what you see on the WOWGO 3. I was really interested in figuring out that WOWGO 3 situation because I'm looking at a belt-driven board and the WOWGO 3X just came out and it looks like a beast. And I'm really trying to figure out, do I want to invest in that board with that super flexy deck? As you can see, when I was standing on the different boards, of course the Backfire was stiff, a lot stiffer, but I don't mind the stiff deck. Then the WOWGO 2S had a little bit more flex, but you know, but it wasn't super stiff. But then of course the WOWGO 3 had that super flexy deck, and you're able to see that when I actually stood on that, it really sags a little bit. But interestingly, when I was looking at the video of me riding on it, it didn't look too bad, because my main concern is with a super flexy deck is if I'm riding, if the enclosures would hit something when I go over a bump or something like that. And that's my main concern with it. To be honest about it, I still don't know how I feel about those super flexy decks. I'm gonna try to ride my friend's WOWGO more for some WOWGO 3 for some extended period of time, so I can really decide, is that board for me? And I hope I did. The video allows you to make a decision if you're one of those guys out there that is a rider that is a little bit heavier than what you see traditionally. Like I said, I'm 225 on a good day, 230 on a bad day. There's a lot of guys that do these reviews and they of the boards, and they're a lot lighter. Oh, I'm 150, oh, I'm 160, or I'm 170. Yes, you probably can rock a really flexy deck, but what does that look like for somebody like me, 220? 230, 240, 250. So hopefully I put some stuff in the video that would help you make your decision. As always, I'll see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And you guys know I always like to leave you with a little word of encouragement. One of the things that's been on my mind a lot is somebody, my son and I, we both write books. And somebody once told me that, Phillips, you guys are father and son goals. And I never heard that before, and I said I really appreciate it. But one of the things I really want to talk about is when I grew up, I didn't have a father. And a lot of times we want to give our kids every single thing that we didn't have. And I'm really big on actually exposure and providing my kids with exposure and opportunities so that they can become the best version of themselves versus buying them a bunch of different things, Xboxes, video games, toys. Yes, you can get those things, but I'm more interested in you getting experiences so that you can grow and develop into the best version that you can. So that's the message I wanted to leave with you guys. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, share. Boom, you know what it is.